You've been lied to. Positive thinking and doing mindset work aren't just ineffective, they're actively holding you back. If you're grinding 12 hours every day, journaling every morning, affirming to yourself that you are the best entrepreneur that you've ever been, and you still feel stuck, spinning your wheels, it's not because you're lazy or undisciplined or you're not having the right mindset. It's because mindset work and positive thinking are tricking your brain into feeling productive without actually doing the hard work that is needed to actually get to the next level. You're falling into a mental trap that makes you feel productive when you're going nowhere. And the longer you stay in this trap, the harder it becomes to break free. One of my clients, let's call him Alex, is an ambitious founder who used to work 12 hours every day and do a lot of mindset work every single day. Yet his business was barely growing. Why? Because he avoided the most important activity he needed to do in order to grow his business, which was to do outreach. Alex would prime himself to do the work. He will sit at his desk, fingers hovering over the keyboard, heart racing, mind spinning with thoughts that told him that he was not good enough, that he was probably wasting his time, that he would sound desperate on his outreach messages. So he never sent them. Instead, he would check Instagram, make another coffee, create a couple of pieces of content, and do some more research. Every day he would tell himself, tomorrow is going to be different, tomorrow I'm finally going to do it. But tomorrow never came. Days becomes week, week becomes month. He had fallen into what I called the mindset trap, which is a lie that keeps most founders stuck. Yet, elite founders never fall for that trap. And let me tell you, they're not smarter than the average founder. They just know something most don't. Master what I'm about to share with you in this video, and I can guarantee that you're going to start executing at a very high level. But what is most exciting, you're going to start rewiring your mind to lean into the right behaviors. And it all starts by mastering something probably no one has ever told you before, which is the fact that your thoughts are automatic. It is just what the brain creates reacting to your subconscious belief about a situation. If your brain thinks a task is easy or safe, you will have positive thoughts. But it will trigger negative thoughts if your brain senses discomfort, uncertainty, and risk. This is because the brain evolved to keep you safe. Your mind is not wired for success, it's wired for survival. Now, the problem is that growth always feels uncomfortable and unsafe. Every time you face a challenge that could lead to growth, your brain tries to stop you with doubt, fear, and overwhelm. This is the reason why you get those crazy negative thoughts, that crazy self-talk telling you you're not good enough, that you're never gonna make it, that this is not going to work. This is natural, but this is where most founders get stuck. They feel those thoughts and they refrain from the activity and wait until they have a better mindset or feel positive about the thing they need to do before doing it. But if you need to wait for positive thoughts in order for you to do things, you'll never move forward. Positive thinking is like revving an engine in neutral. It makes noise, but you're not really making any progress. And what is even worse, that you can trick your brain into secrete fake dopamine instead of actually doing the work that will give you that dopamine. So it's a very hard place to be in. But elite founders know the truth. Negative thoughts are to be expected, and they're not a sign of failure. They're a sign of actual growth. So the skill they master is to take action irrespectively of how they feel, irrespectively of what their thoughts tell them. That is the skill that is going to differentiate you from 99% of founders. The more you run this, the better results you'll get in life and in business. The first step is to calm your mind. See, the first step is not to get hyped like some gurus tell you. It's quite the opposite. It's to calm the mind. It's to activate your parasympathetic nervous system, which is going to slow your mental chatter. When you're in high activation, your mind is racing with doubts, anxiety, overwhelm. You're literally unable to think clearly and execute properly. But if you calm your mind, you regain that control. Before we worked together, Alex sat at his desk and he had so many negative thoughts that he ended up not doing the thing he needed to do. He felt like he was wasting his time. As soon as the first thing I taught him was to calm his mind, he regained control. He still had those negative thoughts, but those thoughts didn't hit him as hard. He was still able to go into step 2. Now, what is the fastest way to calm your mind? It's not through the mind, it's through the body, specifically through breathing. I always recommend doing box breathing. Once you're calm, you're ready for step number 2, which is decode and reframe. Negative thoughts are like blinding lights in a dashboard. They're telling you exactly what you need to go. And once you have them, I want you to ask 2 questions. First of all is, what is the worst case scenario your mind is preparing you for? And 2, what is the lesson that awaits at the other side of those negative thoughts? That will help you, instead of fighting those thoughts, treat them as valuable intelligence for your execution. And over time, you're going to learn what are your subconscious patterns that direct your automatic thinking. A helpful rule of thought here is to ask yourself, what would an elite version of myself do in this situation? Because you already intimately know what do you do when you are at your best. Once you identify and reframe, you're ready for step 3, which is start with a micro win. Create a task so small your subconscious cannot say no to. This will trick you into forward momentum. And once you're moving, it is easier to continue moving. So instead of saying, I'm going to film a YouTube video, start with set up my camera. Instead of going to the gym, say exit your house. Instead of writing a report, start with write 1 line. These micro wins build momentum, and finishing becomes easier once you're in motion. Taking actions like pushing a snowball down a hill. At first, it's heavy and slow, but once it's rolling, it becomes unstoppable. And finally, step 4, commit to completion. This is very important. This will build mental fortitude. See, elite founders separate themselves because they always finish what they start. Every time you finish something, especially if you didn't want to do it in the first place, you are training your subconscious to trust itself. And over time, this creates this intrinsic personal image of an elite founder who never backs out of a challenge. What I recommend my clients to do is to use self-talk strategies to prime themselves to finish what they start when their mind is telling them to give. Whatever strategy you decide to use, what matters is that you actually finish what you start. And this is the whole protocol in a nutshell. Right? First, you calm your mind, then you reframe the challenge, then you start, and then you finish. And the more you run this protocol, the more successful you'll be. Because life never gets easier. You get better at handling ever-increasing levels of pressure and stress. Your level of stress management is really the stress of your success. At the 9-figure level, you're still dealing with the same feelings of resistance, of stress, of negativity. You just have learned to deal with them more effectively. And this is what transformed Alex's business. He had all the technical knowledge in the world. He was the best at marketing and creating complex funnels and stuff, but he didn't sell his services because he was afraid of taking the action he needed to take. As soon as he started running this protocol, his business tripled in a month. You know why? Because he literally went from relying on referrals to sending 500 emails every single week. Guess what happened? He really started getting a lot more calls booked into his calendar, and his business shoot up. And this is a pattern. I've been working with hundreds of founders over many years, and it's always the same principle. There's a resistance right now to the most important growth activity, and unless you address that effectively, you're not going to grow as fast as you possibly could. So you have 2 options. Either you apply the protocol that I just shared with you, which is going to work, you just need to be consistent at it, or you book a call with us and we do a full 6-week rewiring of your brain that is guaranteed to at least triple your productivity across the board. And you'll do so surrounded with elite founders that are on the same journey. Whatever you decide to do, I don't care. What I really care is that you address the elephant in the room. You don't need mindset work. You don't need more marketing skills. You don't need more courses. You need to do the thing you already know you need to do. And that is a function of your ability to execute. So train it.